The 14th Amendment, Section 3 says that anybody who took an oath of office to become president, vice president, senator, or any office of Congress is disqualified if they participate in an insurrection or aids in an insurrection or supports one. And that's what Trump did on January 6th. He supported an insurrection, and that is why the Colorado Supreme Court is removing him. He should be removed from all state ballots because he's a criminal.
Everybody, just into us in the last couple of minutes. The Colorado Supreme Court banning former President Trump from the state's ballot, saying he is ineligible to hold the office of the presidency under the Constitution's insurrection clause. The case is now likely to go to the U.S. Supreme Court. NBC's Sahil Kapoor is following this for us. Sahil, if you will, walk us through this ruling first.
Yeah, it's an absolutely extraordinary ruling, Yasmin.
And the 14th Amendment doesn't say that the person has to be convicted, only if they did support it.
And by the Colorado Supreme Court, it says, quote, a majority of the court holds that President Trump is disqualified from holding the office of president under Section 3 of the 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. Specifically, Section 3 says no officers of the country can have engaged in insurrection. The court essentially found that Trump engaged in insurrection and reversed a lower court ruling that presidents are not subject to Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, saying they are.
But yes, Section 3 does say that vice presidents and presidents are also included.
Subject to Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. I cannot think of any precedent to this for any major presidential candidate in modern times, certainly not one who is marching to the nomination of his party. Dominating the field at this moment. This might have some sort of an impact on that Republican primary field with the Iowa caucuses just about a month or so away.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit more about that, if you will. So he'll draw on that moment for me, if you will, because as we're looking at the primary beginning in just about a few weeks or so, what are we looking at here if the former president cannot be on the ballot in Colorado?
Well, it means that he won't be able to run for president and somebody else will have to be the primary candidate.
Wait to see how his rivals respond. It's unclear whether they will see this as essentially target practice to argue that Donald Trump should not be the nominee of his party if he's subject to these kinds of serious challenges. You know, it's not that difficult to imagine a rival saying don't nominate someone who is found to have been to have engaged in insurrection by a state Supreme Court. Now, Colorado is not exactly a competitive state at this point. It's widely expected to be in the Democratic column, right, whoever the two candidates are. But there are other challenges happening in other states. They have not been successful so far, at least, but in Arizona, in Michigan, and in Minnesota, which are more competitive states.
There are like 25 other states where Trump is being challenged about being on the ballot. So there's a possibility that other states will disqualify him as well.
The challenges have been issued. Could potentially Donald Trump be disqualified from the ballot in a swing state? That would be a massive disadvantage to Republicans. Now, on the other hand, Donald Trump himself has argued that this is a nonsense and election interference lawsuit. In some cases where Donald Trump has been found to be in legal jeopardy, his rivals have simply rushed to his defense, and it's only helped him in the Republican primary. So there are a lot about the politics of this that have yet to shake out.
Yeah, the message and the precedent here is what I'm really focusing in on here. Sahil, if you will, stand by for me. Want to bring in Danny Savalas to talk more about this. This is incredible, this decision here. Danny, if you will, walk us through kind of your reaction first in hearing this.
I will walk you through up to page 2, because that's where I've gotten so far, as this is just breaking. But no, I have the general gist. And the gist is this, is that under Colorado's election code, because Donald Trump was concluded after a 5-day trial to have engaged by clear and convincing evidence in an insurrection, he is therefore...
Yeah, in the state of Colorado, they proved that Trump was a part of the insurrection. So it's not just these justices doing this on a whim, but because there were court cases that proved he was a part of the insurrection on January 6th.
Barred by the Constitution from being on the ballot under Colorado law. So the important question is going to be, how precedential is this? Well, outside of Colorado, not very. This is a Colorado state court decision. And in addition, it's interpreting not just the federal constitution, but also how that affects Colorado's own election laws. So while it is certainly what we call persuasive authority for other jurisdictions, other states, outside of Colorado, it is going to be cabined to this jurisdiction. But make no mistake about it, it is a signal to many other courts, a blueprint, if you will, for them to take a look at their own election codes, see how